At it again, and I've got one here from someone that I've never checked out with you guys. Got one here from Tim Pool. He has a YouTube channel called Timcast IRL, which I'm sure most of you have heard about and even probably watch already. But if you don't, highly encourage you to go check the brother out. I mean, these guys talk about some amazing topics on their show. So yeah, but he had on Matt Gaetz the other day, and I was listening to this video, and I was like, yeah, I've gotta check this out with the fam, because he started talking about what Kevin McCarthy actually gave up. I didn't actually finish the video, because I typically want to genuinely watch it with you guys. So if I do come across something, sometimes I'll finish watching it. Most of the time I'll stop it and save it. So yeah, that's what we're going to be jumping in today. One from Timcast IRL. Shout out to Tim. All right. And the whole crew, really, major shout out to them. But yeah, like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and let's dive in.
Are you able to speak about some of the deals that were being made there and what was being negotiated behind the scenes? Because we know publicly there was a lot said, but there was also a lot of closed door meetings that we didn't get to see. Are you able to talk about those?
Sure. I mean, Thomas Massie, while he voted for McCarthy on every ballot, he was there with us in the back rooms helping write a lot of the fiscal policy that ended up undergirding the agreement. And MTG, you know, she is an inspirational force. I consider her probably my closest ally in all of Congress, and she deserves to be on committees. And what the Democrats did to her was so wrong and so egregious. And I think that she had an earlier understanding with Speaker McCarthy that she would get back on committees, that they would be meaningful committees, that they would tailor to her skill set. And I think that was sufficient for her to support him. We sought some broader structural changes. We achieved those. The changes and concessions we got out of McCarthy are only going to inure to the benefit of MTG, because she's one of our more dynamic and fearless members.
I like Kevin's behavior the last week. McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
How would you rate his him being Speaker of the House this week?
Well, one of the things that was not in the rules but was part of our addendum agreement was that the 14,000 hours had to be released of the footage from January 6th. And the Speaker has custodial oversight of a lot of those records. And
shout out to Matt Gaetz and the other 19, because I think there was 20. The Freedom Caucus. Of the Freedom Caucus members that held out. Shout out to all of them. Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, the whole crew. All right. Byron Donalds. Who else was in that crew? Chip Roy. All of them. We are going to get all of the footage. All of it. Not just cherry-picked little clips. All right. We get all the ammo. We get all the smoke. Okay. Good or bad. Could be horrible. Could show some stuff that, you know, is very, very bad. Okay? Highly doubt it, because they would have released it. But no, we get all the footage. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
He made that commitment, and then today he reaffirmed it publicly that that's exactly what we're going to do. So, yeah, that, you know, trust is a series of promises kept. And I believe that McCarthy deserves the opportunity to keep the promises he made, and so far he's on the right track.
Is he going to have a grudge against you?
I don't know that I'm going to be on his Christmas card list, but you know, it doesn't like that. That's not really what it's about. You know, he knows very clearly what my objectives are and what it took to get us to go forward with a speaker, and he is performing to that expectation. It's, you know, it's not personal for me. It's business.
I'd love to get you guys in together to debate live on the show. It'd be hot.
Well, I mean, what would the best outcome of that have been? Jim Jordan or Byron Donalds?
Look, I think that Jim Jordan is our most talented member. I think he's our hardest working member. He is one of my mentors. He inspires me. But, you know, it got to a point where there were 6 holdouts where we didn't want to drive McCarthy into the arms of the Democrats, right? So once the margin gets that low, McCarthy could, in theory, have gone to the Democrats, gotten 4, 5, 6 of them to get instant COVID in exchange for draining our subpoena authority, and then he would have ascended to the speakership anyway. All of the features of our deal would have dissolved, and then every time we didn't send a subpoena to hold government accountable, he could have said, well, that's Matt Gaetz's fault. So we didn't want to put him in that position, the country in that position, the House in that position, and so that's why we crafted what we thought was a deal that was not reliant on trust, but that had clear enforcement triggers.
And part of this, now that I'm really thinking about it, the fact that they even had to go to Kevin and make a deal is kind of questionable to me. Not even kind of, no, it's really questionable to me. Like, Kevin's supposed to be with Matt Gaetz and the crew. We shouldn't have to make a deal on anything. Right? He's supposed to be a Republican through and through. I don't know. Does that rub anybody else the wrong way? Like, just like sitting back and thinking about it, like, man, now that I think about it, I mean, yes, have I heard great things from Kevin McCarthy since all of that went down? Absolutely. But the fact that he allowed it to go down and allowed it to go down for the length that he did. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. My Republican brothers and sisters. What would y'all like? Huh? Oh, 14,000 hours? No problem. All 14,000? Cool. No problem. Oh, you want Marjorie Taylor Greene back on? Oh, I was already gonna do that anyway. You want Marjorie Taylor back on? Oh, come on. You know Marjorie Taylor was gonna be on those. Come on. What else y'all looking for? It seems like we on the same page anyway, But what else y'all looking for? Oh yeah, I was gonna do that. Yeah. Absolutely, for sure. What else you got? What you say? Oh, yes, of course. That should have been the conversation. In my humble opinion, that should have been the conversation. But the fact that there was like a debate and what did we get up to? Like 15 votes? I don't know. Maybe I'm tweaking. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I mean, am I happy that Kevin is saying the right things and it looks like he's doing the right things? Yes. I mean, I'm going to take my W. But still at the same time, it's just like, I smell a slight scent of fishiness around here. Y'all smell that too? I don't know. But yeah, y'all talk to me.
Eric Swalwell, Adam Schiff, they're getting removed from their.
And also, last thing, we'll jump back to the video. The fact that Matt Gaetz had to say he thought McCarthy might go to Democrats but like that too is just like, whoa, Kevin, you really would have done that, huh? And I talked about that when that whole thing was going down. I was like, yeah, bro, if he goes to Democrats, it's over for Kevin. He literally will become the new I'm drawing a blank. I can see her face too. Sheesh. What was the chick's name? Why am I drawing a blank? Oh, like after the video, I'm gonna think of her name, and I'm gonna, of course, that was her name. Basically, he'll be the next biggest rhino, other than Mitch McConnell, of course. He's the biggest right now, but he will be out of the party in a heartbeat if he would have gone to Democrats. That's just ridiculous.
Their committees, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah, I think that
From the
had clear enforcement triggers.
Eric Swalwell, Adam Schiff, they're getting removed from their committees, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that the Democrats kind of, crossed the Rubicon on this when they threw MTG and Gosar off committees without a basis. And there is sufficient basis with Schiff in particular.
I agree.
And, Swalwell. Now, I don't think the grave Swalwell emergency is the Fang thing. I think it's more the role he played in the Russia hoax. Like when you go out there and say there's evidence that the president of the United States is a Russian agent, and then you don't deliver on that, you shouldn't get to serve on the major committees that have access to the most sensitive intelligence on the planet Earth.
I agree. And Adam Schiff.
But like the Fang thing.
Yeah.
Poor Fang.
Listen. The internet is not going to like what I have to say.
Maybe.
But within the Republican conference, I am Swalwell's biggest defender on the Fang thing. And here is why. He was a city councilman in the city of Dublin, and some chick showed up with money wanting to hook up with him. You think that like he's a single guy like running around running around California, and he's supposed to have like the defensive briefing to turn down some like hot Chinese chick that was wanting to like donate money and jump in bed with him? He wasn't a member of Congress. He didn't have access to intelligence. What most sensitive information he was working on was like the sewage system of the city of Dublin. So I think you probably give the guy a break for that. What you don't give him a break for is then coming here and weaving these whole lies onto half-truths to try to destabilize the presidency in the country. That's far more egregious than the Fang thing.
Was he with Fang while he was in Congress?
No, that was when he was on the city council somewhere in nowhere, California.
Oh.
But there's also with Adam Schiff the release of phone records of private citizens and Nunes. Which
Yeah.
is,
Oh, yeah. Well, Schiff is truly the worst member of Congress. He is. It's like looking into the eyes of evil with that guy. He's really
I was
an
going to
evil
say,
guy.
I think he's an evil man.
Yeah,
And
he
I-
has no reflection.
Dude, what is going on? That
And
he
if you
thinks-
bring garlic around, his like skin starts to burn.
I haven't talked to him, but I think he's got that same mindset that he's like, these people are evil, and then other people are like, he's evil. Like, what is going on?
No
is it
way,
just
dude.
a breakdown in communication or
He-
something?
He held up an envelope on TV saying that it was proof Trump colluded with Russia or whatever, and that he couldn't show anybody. That's what happened. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Something
Well,
like
and
that.
then he like made up a construct of a transcript between Zelensky and Trump that just didn't happen. It was just willed into existence by his imagination. And I mean, he's done such damage to our intelligence community. And like, there is a place for the United States to like know what's going on in the world. Usually knowledge is power, right? But the way he weaponized it, and it really started with a lot of the Obama people. Like, say what you will about Obama, the guy was good at vertically integrating personnel in a lot of these agencies where the bureaucracy would bend to their will. Like if there's a fair critique of Trump, it's that, you know, he was this great visionary, but oftentimes the people that were 2, 3, 4 layers down were working against him. And he didn't roll into the presidency with this terrific Rolodex of people that could go and operate at that level. Whereas, you know, Schiff, Obama, like these people were good at getting people in place to drive action. And we should learn from that.
Is it because they were hooked up with the liberal economic?
100%. 100%. And I've said this. Trump was terrible at picking people. But then also, you know, he was new to politics. So he does have a bit of an excuse. Now, in 24, when he gets back into office, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. And if I have to criticize him over it, then I will. Because I would like to consider myself at least somewhat of a fair person. So if you're doing something foolish, I'm going to call you out on it. So if you go back in office and you do the same thing, you're putting some of the same horrible people, not the same horrible people, but horrible people back into positions that could work against you. Yes, I'm going to criticize you. I'm going to criticize you. But I highly doubt that will happen. I'm sure he learned from that grave mistake, and the best of the best will be put into the right positions to make sure that the mission and the goal is completed. But that's just my humble opinion. Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comment section.
Order at the time, and like they just had all the backing of.
Right. There's a whole infrastructure. Like if you're part of the prevailing way of thinking, the national security state, the neoconservative worldview, there's an entire infrastructure there to like build out your career. There are endowed professorships. There are think tanks that are ready to give you 6-figure jobs. There's a like career progression of jobs on the Hill. But if you think differently, you're kind of hunted in a lot. You know, you're hunted, canceled. They do everything to compromise you. And if that doesn't work, they try to destroy you.
What do you?
So there's a lot of compromise, especially in Washington, D.C. But how deep does the rabbit hole go? Because there's a lot of people talking about, you know, the deep state, the intelligence agencies having a lot of control, using a lot of extortion, special interest groups pulling the strings here. What's your understanding of how things really work in Washington, D.C. compared to what the average American kind of sees?
Well, I think that, like the most corrupt, like foray into this is like freshman orientation. Because like you show up here, and I mean, imagine showing up from Northwest Arkansas, from like, Southern Mississippi, and you see the architecture of DC. They take you out to like the finest steakhouse, the best wine you've ever had, and co-located at your table are the lobbyists for the major special interests for the committees that you're interested, that you want to serve on. So like I get here and they're like, oh, Gaetz, you want to be on the Armed Services Committee. Have you met these defense contractors? These are the key lobbyists that round up the defense money. And they put you with them from the very beginning. And you sort of get the joke that if you give your vote card to the leadership and your calendar to the lobby corps, you just kind of get enveloped into a system that's there to nurture you and protect you and keep you out of harm's way. And all it costs you is your own belief set. And I don't think that's compromise so much as selling out. Now, so that is like step one. And that catches a whole lot of the people who get here. And then beyond that, if you kind of resist that system, then they do try to extort you, engage in anything they can do to compromise you, cancel you, find some joke that you liked on Instagram years ago that like doesn't fit with the mores of this time, find some email that you were on like the forward chain of that's like some basis to say that you're a white supremacist or you're, some sort of unacceptable human that can't be in polite company. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, then if that doesn't work, it's abject destruction through the political process where there are many, many dollars lined up solely for the extermination of those who push back against the narrative.
Yeah, this is detailed extensively in books like the Economic Hitman that I think are definitely worth reading and checking out here. But talking to previous members of Congress, it's really kind of daunting to see what they have to go through, how much pressure they have to go through, how much agreement they have to agree to before even getting into some of those positions of power.
Well, and the dues, it's money. I mean, there's specific dollar amounts. I mean, I remember, going in and saying, well, I want to be on the Armed Services Committee. And someone looked me dead in the eye and said, well, that'll be $75,000 that you owe to the leadership funds and to the Republican Congressional Committee. Wow. And so, I go home and think, well, part of you wants to say, screw you, or like, are you wearing a wire?
Thanks for watching this clip.
$75K to get on, bro, what the fuck? Excuse my language, but so they pay you to become a yes man, and then they charge you to get on these committees where all you are, well, for a lot of folks, is a yes man. What? So the money that they give you, they take away from you when you get on the committee. Oh man, yo, whoever is going through with this extortion, yo, that is just, oh man, goodness gracious, what in the world? So these lobbyists give you money to say yes, and then they take away that same money when you actually are on the committee. So really, really, the fools are truly these politicians. Goodness gracious. Wow. Talk about a scam. Talk about a scam, man. Yeah, we'll give you $75,000 if you just become our yes man. Great. You'll do it? Okay, good. Here's your $75,000. Oh, by the way, the fee to join that committee is $75,000. So, do you want to pay now? Pay now? Okay, cool. Thank you. Yep. Yo. Oh man, shout out to Matt Gaetz, man. Shout out to Matt Gaetz. Love Matt Gaetz. Shout out to Tim Pool as well. And the whole crew over at Timcast IRL for sure. All right. But back to the whole McCarthy thing. How do you guys feel about McCarthy? I mean, I know before, and I made several videos talking about McCarthy, and it seemed like we were all basically on the same page. 95% of us did not want McCarthy. 95%. Probably 96%. Actually, I think I did a poll on Twitter, and I think it was like 96%. McCarthy had like 4%. 4% of y'all wanted McCarthy. But so an overwhelming majority did not want McCarthy, didn't like McCarthy, didn't trust him, yada, yada, yada. How do you feel about him now that he's in that position, now that he said what he said, he's done what he's done so far, and admittedly so far so good. But how are you feeling? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment. Hit that subscribe button before you go. And go show Tim, if you haven't already, some major love, all right? Peace and love. I'm out.